My remarks will be very short and brief, because I think we have quite a packed agenda, and listening to Anne, for example, she's covered quite a lot of the points that I would have wanted to also amplify. So, of course, today marks a very, very defining milestone in our journey to deepen Kenya's capital markets and unlock sustainable finance for the real estate development. And the launch of the REITs Toolkit and Incubator is more than a product introduction. For us, we see it as a bold step towards democratizing real estate investment and building a stronger, more inclusive financial ecosystem for our nation and indeed for our region. For too long, Kenya's REITs market has held immense potential, and everyone talks about it, but we've had very limited, honestly speaking, very limited momentum. The main barrier has not been the lack of interest. Rather, it has been the lack of, in our view, readiness. Promoters, developers, and investors in our country face a lot of complexity structuring REITs, navigating regulation, and of course raising capital. The REITs Toolkit and Incubator Program is meant to change all that. It provides promoters with practical templates, regulatory guidance, financial modeling tools, and of course mentorship from experts. So in short, what you're trying to do is to bridge the gap between concept and the capital market. And I would dare say, if at the end of today's session, you don't feel we've moved the needle on that, you should ask for your money back. So this initiative is meant to build a reliable pipeline of investable, high-quality REITs, just as we at the NSC are also doing on other fronts to enable investors and promoters like yourselves to access capital from the public market. And real estate investment trusts the world over have been proven are a proven mechanism for turning savings into productive assets. They allow institutional and retail investors alike to participate in the property market with transparency, liquidity, and governance. Let me repeat that. With transparency, liquidity, and governance. That's what's differentiating us from those that are potentially offering you a chance to buy a piece of land in the middle of Kajiado. So for us, we are saying we are bringing you a tool, a mechanism, a way for you to invest in the real estate market with transparency, liquidity, and proper governance. The incubator program will support the creation of REITs that channel pension funds, insurance capital, and of course individual savings into impactful projects, whether those be commercial developments, affordable housing projects, and indeed even infrastructure projects. So in doing so, we are not only advancing Kenya's capital market, we are also directly supporting, of course, the government's agenda to mobilize private capital to create jobs, housing, and to drive inclusive economic development. Finally, this initiative is meant to also position Kenya as the REITs innovation hub on our continent. As other markets in the region look to develop their REITs frameworks, Kenya can now offer leadership, both in regulation, in structuring, and of course investor protection, which I think is important to underscore. Through collaboration with partners, including the likes of the Capital Markets Authority, our primary regulator, of course the REITs Association of Kenya, the World Bank through the JCAP program, fund managers, developers, and market intermediaries, we clearly can attract cross-border listings and investments and reinforce Nairobi's role as East Africa's financial gateway. Let me summarize by saying, truly the REITs Incubator and the REIT Toolkit and Incubator represent a new chapter for our market, one that connects ideas to investments, developers to capital, and savings to opportunity. Together we can transform how real estate is financed in Kenya and the wider region, from the traditional models that lack transparency, that lack tradability, that are not inclusive, to ones that are. And at the NSE, we remain steadfast in our mission to mobilize capital for growth and to make our markets work for every Kenyan, whether you're an institutional investor or an individual saver. And hopefully you also get to hear from some of my colleagues from the NSE on the strategy that we picked for 2025-2029 that truly seeks to enable inclusive participation in the capital markets. I thank you, and I invite, of course, all of you to join us in bringing the next generation of REITs to life. Enjoy your day. Thank you.